Hello there. This is the fourth video on my series of the 4 I's, how to navigate your internal compass. And the fourth one is really about ideation. And you can think of this as creating ideas, being innovative, thinking about how to disrupt standard, normal, business as usual processes, thinking, communication, you name it. It can be relating to absolutely anything and everything. So as with the other three areas of the compass, have a think about scoring yourself in your current state, and then think about how you might be able to notch those up a few more scores out of 10 to the next 6 to 12 months. So just want to give you some ideas around what you might think about if you're not feeling very innovative or someone who creates lots of ideas. So I talk to people about being in careers, often around actually getting sought out rather than left out. I think that's really important because in our teams, sometimes if we don't have the influence, or we're not having the status of a certain role, we can often feel like we're getting overlooked. And I think this really would help if you're feeling like that, because this will help you start to create some space for new ideas to come into your mind. So two things. There's how do you create a bit of space in your own mind to be able to allow for ideas to come into your own mind, but how do you create space for others to do that too? So we don't have to be great ideation creating people on our own. We can actually really tap into the resource and brains trust of others. So it's not a solo journey if you're not a great ideas person. So often we find that we don't create enough space to be an ideas person because we're too worried about over achieving our goals or timelines or to-do lists. We're just so focused on do. We don't actually come out of the transactions and actually think bigger picture. So for me, when I have my great ideas, it's because I'm not thinking. I've got blank space in my mind where thoughts can pop in. So if this isn't something that's easy for you to do, I would encourage you to think about getting out and into nature, whether that means walking, whether that means cycling, swimming, getting into the ocean, anything. Do something that's doesn't have necessarily an outcome to it, and that can help you to take a complete technology detox where you don't take anything with you. I would not even be putting my thoughts down on a phone. I would be taking pen and paper with me to think about that. Something I do is sit under a tree in nature, a great big Port Jackson fig or something like that, and actually just sit under the tree and look up at the leaves. Don't try and take in the whole sky, but actually just look up into the branches and the leaves and watch things, how they move. If it's a beautiful breezy day, just look at how the leaves move with no expectation of, I'm going to create some kind of new imagination here and some new idea is going to pop into my head. I think having the practice of creating space in your mind will help you help to have a bit of space for new ideas to pop in. So if you're leading teams, you can think about how do you create a safe environment for people to feel that they can do that together. And that's harder than even doing it yourself, because you actually have to create an emotional safety net for others. Now, if you're a leader and you've got a boss who's very demanding and doesn't allow for that space to be created, what I've done in the past is actually push back on my leader and said, you need to step away from this and give us time to explore ideas. Go away for 3 months, 6 months, or this is going to take us 12 months. Whatever it's going to take for a team to create new ideas, you need to give that team emotional safety where they're not going to get basically, beaten up by your boss or other leaders around because they're seemingly doing nothing, and just playing and brainstorming and allowing for new ideas to come in. So it's really important to make sure that you create the safety by pushing back on peers, bosses, whatever it takes. Also, if you're working with teams, using inclusive language, body behavior, using words like we instead of me or I. So allowing people to feel that their voices are really praised and valued. There are no wrong ideas. If you think about any of the big tech companies, they spend many millions of dollars on new ideas, and I think something like 10% of them will actually come to fruition. So think about that when you're thinking about creating space for something new. But also being able to think on your feet is really important, especially in meetings where you're with your boss or leadership team, or if you're out with the clients. You need to have the ability to not know the answers. You can say that, I don't know, but I really think that this would be a good idea to explore. Giving yourself permission. I think that's really important, and it gives you the time and the space to not know. And as an accountant, that's really hard, because we always want to know, always want to jump to problem solving solutions, and actually being in the space, that liminal space of not knowing the answer, is good practice. So have a think about how you score yourself on ideation, and whether some of those tips might be able to help you. Write them down on your sheet in the tasks to complete. Put yourself 2 or 3 tasks that you think you can do in the next 3 months, 6 months, to get your score from where it is today to where you want it to be in the future. I hope that's helped.